Hi everybody, welcome to LULU on Tuesday. I have mentioned since I've kind of revived my YouTube filming that I'm trying to get a schedule going, which I really at this point, I don't want to make a commitment that I can't keep. But I've mentioned that I have like all these rants I want to do, and you know, and should I do meals and things? Yeah, I do have a few ongoing, you know, purposeful tossing, etc. And a few people have like perked up when they heard rants. So if you were to read through my comments, you would see a few people mention the rants, and I think it's come up in my Facebook group as well. So here, I think LU on 2, whenever I do a LU on 2, is going to be a rant. Okay, and they're going to be long, because I will try to not make them long. There's, I'm going to say several things at the same time. They will have almost nothing to do with each other, but it sets the stage. And the stage is unconscious bias. Some of you in marketing or advertising or sales or human resources, even finance, you may be very well medical, you might be aware of what an unconscious bias is. I was very startled when I realized that I was creating one, and it was about women. Now, I gotta tell you, I wasn't quite part of the Burning Your Bra movement, but I was right up there. I was in high school and college in the 70s. You know, was very career-oriented, wore the suit back in the day. I think back in the day we also had those floppy like ties. Wore, you know, carried my Coach handbag, and really saw the inequality of the corporate workplace. Now that's a whole different subject, but that was then, and this is now. Of course, it still exists, big time. And I call it like it is. Sometimes it's our own darn fault as women. Nobody likes to hear that. But what I did, so I'm going to tell you what I did. Many times I will have a client that I will have to work across time zones. There are times I might even need to work internationally. And so that will come up during our conversations, interviews, assessment of my ability, is my availability to handle various markets nationally, internationally. And forever and a day, I have been answering that by saying that is not an issue whatsoever. My time is my own. I don't have young children at home. I don't have anyone to care for. I can be available whenever you want. And that was always a great answer. I was creating an unconscious bias against all my women sisters out there who have children. There is enough of a prejudice about working career, whether it's career, power roles, about having children, and is there going to be a lot of time missed because of school, because of illness. And by saying, oh, I have no small children, I have no obligations, I can work across any time zone, that's certainly the least of our worries. You know, we can move on to the next subject. I was creating an unconscious bias in whoever I was talking to, and even in myself, that children might present a problem working off hours. Is that making sense to you? I was appalled at myself when I found this out. I didn't even find it out. I mean, it just hit me. I was actually reading an article. Oh, wish I knew which article. I was reading an article, you know, try to keep up in your profession, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have been doing that completely unconsciously. I was not meaning to slam or throw under the bus or anything women. I was a working mom. The only time I took off was the 6 weeks after having the babies. It was all about my career. And I did it just fine. You know, I did it just fine, wonderfully. so now I'm going to take you to another subject, and maybe you've heard this one kind of in a, excuse me, I need to have a sip of wine. You might have heard this one in parenting-wise. Big storm, thunder, lightning, big storm rolling across town. And you have a 3, 4, 5-year-old, and man, it's, you know those big storms, the claps of thunder and lightning, and you just kind of like, come here, little Susie, come here, sit down, we'll just watch TV now. Don't be afraid, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just the angels bowling or whatever you might have said. So it'll go away, and tomorrow we won't even think about this, so don't be scared. Child wasn't scared until you said that. And now the little 3 or 4-year-old in their own little way of thinking is thinking, well, does that mean there is something? I should have been scared, and now I shouldn't be scared? But I wasn't scared. Maybe I should have been scared. We unconsciously planted the seed of being afraid of thunderstorms. I hope you can make the connection between these two stories. And now the point of my rant is the mature beauty community. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. If I hear one more mature beauty YouTuber talk about, I don't know why they don't send PR to us. We're the ones that have the money, we're customers, we're still wearing makeup, and they should recognize us. Yeah, maybe we don't have, 100,000 or a million, or a million, but we are important. We have a voice, we have the income, we enjoy it, and we're completely overlooked when it comes to sponsorships or PR, from the big makeup companies. And, and then it inevitably ends with, we're not dead, we're just, we still are relevant. Unconscious bias. By saying we're not dead, it sends the signal unconsciously that, well, the mature, they're kind of fading away. Or you'll hear, if you've been following me, photography's kind of been my thing lately, and so I was looking for meetup groups for photography classes, and that's where I found the first one, which was a huge fail. It was just too above my level. But there were, because you put in your zip code, and I guess all the groups come up, very interesting, like yoga moms and all this stuff. But there was a clear group of mature, men and women. And like literally the name of them, one of them is, I'm not dead yet. You are sending the signal out that people who are 50, 60, 70, I don't know the group, why would you say we're not dead yet? Because you are unconsciously throwing that out there. And it makes me crazy. Or you'll see YouTube videos about the best 5 foundations for mature skin. And I'm waiting, why is this good for mature skin? Why is it not good for a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old? And it's just a review of 5. It's just a review of 5 foundations. It didn't say anything about it being particularly special about someone who had 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old skin. It makes me crazy. So this unconscious bias, and it made me crazy about myself when I realized the kinds of things that I was saying that created a bias unconsciously on their end, on my end, but yet it reinforced a certain idea. You'll notice how, I don't want this to be controversial, if it is, it is, but I have many times noticed in business or in watching television, the news or debates, I'm trying to think, but they will go out of their way to say, and he or she has excellent communication skills. And they're usually talking about a person of color. They don't usually use that descriptive term when they're talking about Caucasians. So they're creating this unconscious bias that, like, that's special. That this person doesn't have, or has really great communication skills. What they leave off is for a person of color. And so there's this continual unconscious bias going on. Anyway, so that's kind of my rant, is the mature YouTube community has to stop crying about the fact that they're not counted, or no one cares about them, or, you know, it's all about the youth in these magazines. Yes, it is. Have you ever put together a marketing budget? Have you worked in corporate America? I'm talking corporate, I'm talking Fortune 500, in either finance or marketing or sales. Everything out there, this camera I'm using, the chair I'm sitting on, everything has a target audience. And they're very clear. Income level, 50 to 90,000. College graduate, white, female, ages, blah, 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 lives in the suburbs. Like, that is how clear their target market is, because they want to know, when are those people watching TV? When are they passing these billboards? How are they getting their information? Are they listening to influencers? Are they reading the sponsored ads on Instagram? Whatever. Because that's the marketing budget. You're going to put it where you get the most bang. I think most of us know that, but it's wise. If you owned a business, there's limited dollars in your household. There's limited dollars. If you're feeding a big family, you're going to use your dollars where they spread the most to make sure everybody's having a nutritious meal. So yeah, they're not coming for us mature beauties, because we're not their market. I'm sorry, yes, I have the money to buy it. I do buy it. I make YouTube videos. Not saying I'm better, but we need to stop creating this unconscious bias of saying, I guess they think we're not important, because you're really putting out the message that I'm not that important. And, you know, even when I see things like, oh, I think it started with one of the vendors on QVC, and it made me so irritated. She was, who was it? She was using models of a certain age, and instead of saying, and she's 65 years young or 70 years young. What? Like what? Like you have to make us feel better. You have to make us feel like we're not old. So you're going to say, she's 75 years young. Do we look like idiots? She's 75 years old, period. You're 20 years old, you're 30 years old, you're 35 years old. When does it happen? 50 years young? Is 50 the cutoff that suddenly we are so sensitive that we can't take the normal way of stating someone's age? I'm 60 years old. I will be 61 years old later this month. Like, we need to be pampered because we're old and fragile, and we have to be reminded that age is only a number. All right, so this is my rant. Come on, come at me, I'm okay. Just this unconscious bias, and I have been guilty of it in a very serious way in the employment field, in the equality field, in women having the same pay, the same opportunity, the same promotions as men, which we are still really battling. And there I am, bringing up children in the most innocent way, bringing up thunderstorms, and don't be afraid, don't let the lightning scare you. I wasn't scared, but I guess I will be now. So sometimes it's the things we don't say, or the times we're actually trying to be nice that actually we're not, and we don't know it. And somehow I hope this all tied into the mature beauty community. Even calling it the mature beauty community is like, but it's there. It's not going to get undone. Everybody's using the hashtag. Everybody's using the tags, metadata tags. I don't know. So come at me, tell me what you think. Next, I have a list. I have such a list of rants. And these are just my opinion. These are my opinion. That's all. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.